Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to do another 90 Day Fiancé recap video. So today we're going to talk 90 Day Fiancé. We're getting close to the weddings, the season's almost over, and yeah, we're just getting right into this. So this episode we actually seen all 7 couples, so I was really happy about that. So I'm going to start with Emily and Kobe. So in last week's episode, Emily and Kobe went to the pharmacy, and Emily got tested and she is pregnant again. So, and they decided they wanted to keep this a secret from everybody. Okay. So now this episode, they're only a week away from their wedding. It was revealed that Kobe's friend, Kobe has a friend that's from Columbus, Ohio, whose name is Temperature. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's a cool name. Cool name. No pun intended. Cool name. Temperature. He flew in from Columbus to Kansas City. He's also from Africa to be the best man for Kobe's and Emily's wedding. Well, Kobe meets up with Temperature at his hotel. You know, they had a drink and they talk, and they just talk about like how it's been for Kobe here in America. And, Temperature was just like, is she treating you well? And, Kobe said, yeah, for the most part, yes. But, at times Emily can be too much or whatever and everything. And so not Kobe, but Temperature was going on to saying, well, in African culture, the men are ahead of everything. And that they should be like, he should like stand up for himself a little bit more. And I'm just like, dude, you're not in Africa anymore. You're in America. It's completely different. So they talk about that. So then later in the scenes, Temperature and Kobe meet up with Emily and her family to go out to dinner. And Temperature got to meet the family. Well, at the restaurant, Emily was ordering food, and she ordered food for Kobe. And Temperature saw that, and he was just like, you do everything for him? And she was like, yeah, like, what's wrong with that? And then he just got a little bit sexist, a little bit. He was like, oh, well, the man should be taking charge, and, in Africa, like, the men are in charge of the women and this, and that, and everything. And, he wasn't fully understanding that, in America, relationships are equal. Then he went on to announce that Kobe's dad, it was revealed in this episode that Kobe's dad is actually a prince over in Cameron. And like everyone's just like, wait, a prince? And Kobe was like, yeah, my father was basically from a royal family and his tribe and stuff. And I was just like, oh, interesting. And Emily's like, all these years of knowing each other, and I did not know that. But Kobe just didn't seem fazed about it. He just like brushed it off like it was nothing. It was just like, yeah, my dad's a prince. I decided to not like follow in those footsteps or whatever. Didn't really go much deep in depth into it, but it was a unique thing coming out saying that. But anyway, back to Temperature. Him and Temperature and Emily's sister like started going at it because I just think Temperature was just wrong with what he was saying. He was like, the man should be doing this, and that, and the woman shouldn't be doing this, and that. And, Emily's sister is like, I disagree. Like, that's not an appropriate way to look at things, Yes, he's an African man. She's American, everything needs to be equal, and we've seen that over the years, like with the African culture. It is common in the African culture for the men are in charge and the women are supposed to be submissive. And of course, that ain't gonna happen here in America. Obviously, the issues are with that. We've seen that a lot with Angela and Michael over the years with the submissive thing and stuff. So yeah, it is. I understand what Temperature was trying to say, but he was just trying to make it it's obviously a culture shock to him. So yeah, but he was just being really. I feel like he was being really sexist about it and just not understanding. He was just like, well, I just have to realize that this is like a culture thing here in America, So yeah. And when you're, yeah, and it's not so much a culture thing. It's just so much like, relationship, no matter where you're from, should be equal. Nobody should really be submissive, like, like that, everybody should deserve as much love and respect for each other. So, and I don't think no matter where you're from, I think that love and respect are like what you should get out of a relationship. So I don't know what this temperature guy was trying to say, but didn't come off right. And also, Kobe had told Temperature that Emily's pregnant again, and that went against Emily's wishes of keeping it secret. So next episode, I'm pretty sure that's gonna go down. So yeah, that was Emily and Kobe. Next I want to talk about is Belle and Scheida. Now, they only had a quick little scene. They're still talking about the stupid prenup. I am so over this conversation about the prenup. It's just been ongoing for the last like 5 weeks now. It's just that I'm just over it. Like, Scheida just wants something that will protect herself. Belle got everything he wants. Scheida mentioned in this episode she talked to her lawyer and stuff, and basically like everything protects Belle. Nothing protects him. So Scheida and Belle talk, and Scheida is just like, okay, listen, let's put this into the prenup. Like, if I'm gonna sign this, you're gonna have to be responsible for me, like helping me get my yoga business like going when I could work. Basically, that's basically the gist of it. Like Scheida, she's like yoga instructor. She does yoga teaching in Trinidad and stuff. So like she wants to have her own business here. And if Belle is just keep going on about this prenup and everything, and I understand Scheida, she needs something that can have her own back. So yeah, she just told Belle, why don't you just like put this in the prenup and you help me and you be in charge of getting my business started. And I personally think that's a fair statement. That's a fair deal. And, Belle was just like, I'll think about it. We'll see. So, I mean, I think we're finally getting some progress here with them. But, I'm just over the prenup conversation with them. But I think like Scheida is finally like gonna go toe to toe with Belle to get this done. Because like, she's, like she really doesn't want to sign it. Because prenups are a recipe for divorce, but so I think that Belle and Scheida just need to really focus on their wedding a little bit and just not like stress so much about the stupid prenup. They only got like 28 days left of their visa, so yeah. So that was Belle and Scheida. Next is I'm going to talk Jabri and Miona. This episode, and they also only had one scene. Jabri and Miona. As we all know, Jabri's parents are just getting tired of their little anecdotes here, and they just like called Jabri and Miona to say, hey, listen, don't y'all remember we gave y'all a time frame of when y'all supposed to technically be moving out here. And, Jabri just wasn't hearing it. He was irritated. Didn't want to hear the conversation. Apparently they had a discussion before Miona's visa was approved that they would stay here during the 90 days and like a month or two after at Jabri's parents' house. And then they were going to move out on their own. They had an agreement. And, Jabri's mom, Mahala, is just saying that, we're sticking with this agreement, We're basically sticking with this agreement. So you guys basically have to figure something out. And, Jabri's just like, man, I feel like I'm 15 years old again. And his stepdad, Brian, was just like, yeah, I feel like you're 15 years old again, too. Like, Now, Miona is just sitting over here just keeping quiet. She's just like, I actually agree with the parents. I'm ready to move out. I've been wanting to move out so we could start our own life. But I do feel bad for Jabri because, like, man, how can you do that to your child and stuff? So yeah, like, I think that Jabri's parents, they're just over it now. And I kind of feel bad now. I do feel like they're being a little too harsh with them because I know that they want to come to the wedding. Now they're not going to go to the wedding now, but I do think that they could have made a little bit of time to just see the wedding or make an appearance or something. But I don't know. But I think that whole situation is just very selfish on everybody's parts. Everybody's being selfish basically in that whole situation with Jabri and Miona. So, nonetheless, I hope they do well, but we'll see what happens with them. Next I want to talk is Ari and Benny. Now, they also only had one scene in this episode, but, Ari basically goes wedding dress shopping. She meets with the officiants. They get, they're preparing for the wedding. They go to the church where they're going to have the ceremony and stuff. And, she's contemplating, her and Benny are contemplating the relationship. She video chatted with Leandra. Leandra isn't coming to the wedding, which is a surprise. I'm kind of surprised about that. But Ari's saying, we got all this wedding planning, and I don't know if we're going to get married. This and that. Benny's saying the same thing. We're doing all this wedding planning, and I don't even think we're going to get married and stuff. However, they had their best scene, I think, of the whole season in this episode. Ari and Benny, just seeing Benny with his child, Avi, the scene was just them playing, and Benny was sewing his pants for the wedding and stuff, and to make a perfect fit for Avi to wear at the wedding and stuff, which is really beautiful. Ari comes in the house to see them playing and stuff, and she joins in and stuff, and basically realize, what, Benny's a good father, and how he loves Avi, and I don't want him to lose Avi like he lost his first son, so I do want to make this relationship work. And Benny was saying the same thing, he really loves Ari, and they ain't perfect, but they really love each other, and they want to keep the family together. And so I'm glad they both realized that. I was just over them bickering and fighting so much, and now they're realizing the love for each other through the kid. Now I will admit that nobody should be together because of a kid. A lot of couples like to stay together because of their child and stuff. If you're really not happy, kid or not, you shouldn't be together for the kid's sake. I know it's gonna be hard on the kid, but you can work it out. But nevertheless, Ari and Benny just seem like they're more grateful for each other after just playing with Avi, and just see how much they mean to each other. So that was really sweet. So yeah, that was Ari and Benny. Next I want to talk is my favorite couple, Kara and Guillermo. Kara and Guillermo, now they're about to have they're going to be the first wedding we'll see. We'll probably see the wedding next week. Now, in this episode, Guillermo talks to his mother, and he basically says that I'm worried about Kara's little control in this and stuff, but his mom just gave him advice you love her, nobody can change overnight, but you really love her and you care for her, so just push through it. So later he goes and talks to Kara and apologizes from their little dinner table disagreement and stuff, and he's saying how sorry he was, and Kara actually did forgive him. She was just what, I'll pass it down to him. He just lost his brother. We're still grieving. It was just pre-wedding jitters and stuff. I'm just gonna accept it and move on. So yeah, so they made up. And then Kara had her bachelorette party. Guillermo had to stay downstairs while Kara had her girls over to have the little bachelorette party. And the girls come over, they have fun and stuff. They talk about what happened at the dinner the day before and stuff. And, and one of her friends is like, Kara, you are a little bit much. But, just remember that he does love you. You are a little bit much, but he should know you by now. So, Kara and Guillermo, it looks like they're going to get married. Next week should be their wedding episode. I can't wait to see that. So that was Kara and Guillermo. They made up. They're going to be the first wedding we see next week. Next I want to talk is Eve and Muhammad. Yeah. Now last week they had a big fight because, Muhammad wants to get married quick so he can get his papers and stuff, and he's feeling like Eve is not understanding that. Eve is understanding that she didn't do this on purpose. Her and Muhammad, they had a little makeup session. They made up for what happened. Whoop-de-doo. And so later, Eve goes to work, and she has one of her friends, who's one of her clients, because Eve does massages, and one of her friends was her client for the day, and they just talked about what happened at the wedding venue. Did Muhammad like it? And Eve was just saying no. And, her friend was just like, you got 90 days to decide if he's ignorant. That ignorant wasn't the term she used. I'm not going to say the term she used, but if he's a jack, what, or not. Basically, and he's just been nothing but like judgment on crying this whole time. So like, they're trying to like understand each other's religions and philosophies, but Muhammad is just not. He just thinks his religion is above everything else. So what Eve decided to do, she was like, I want you to hang out with my squad, the girls. And Muhammad's just like, I don't want to hang out with them. Remember what happened the last time? Remember early in the season when Muhammad first got here, he got to meet up with the girls, Eve's friends, and they like grilled him, asked him inappropriate questions that he wasn't used to. And he was just like, I don't want to meet them. And Eve was just like, I want you to see what we do in my religion, my spiritual thing. So he agreed to meet with them. He wasn't thrilled about it, so he agreed. So they had like a little fire. It was like nice. It was like a little fire pit thing. They got a fire going, and they just started like putting like twigs and stuff into the fire, and then like something with, I don't know, something similar to what Danielle does from Love in Paradise. I don't know. I didn't understand it. I'm not hating on it. I just did not understand it. And for the first time, I actually agree with Muhammad. He was just like, this was different. I'm not used to this. And yeah, I like what I do better. And this is the first time where I wouldn't say I agree with him, but I see his point, because I couldn't tell you. I never seen that before, And so, and I'm not hating on that either, because, I like watching these kind of shows and learning about other cultures and other religions and what they do and stuff. So I'm not hating on it, but, it's just something that I never even seen before. So I can't even like pinpoint what it is. Like, it's some kind of like spirituality, some kind of prayer they did and stuff in the scene. So Eve got with her friends to do that, and they're just like, we want Eve to be happy, we want Eve to be like, we want you to feel better, but even though he's not. So yeah. So yeah, that was even Muhammad. There's just a lot of cultural differences, and that they need to really. But I think Muhammad, like Eve is compromising, but Muhammad isn't. Muhammad really needs to compromise. So I don't know. And last, I want to talk. This was a really sad scenario, and I want to talk about Patrick and Thais. Patrick and Thais. So their storyline lately has been Thais hasn't been able to talk, hasn't been able to tell her father that she's getting married. Well, last week she revealed that the time has come. So this episode, Patrick gets his iPad going, and he talks to, and they put like Thais' father on the line, and they talk for a little bit, and then Thais revealed that, I'm really here on a visa to get married to him. And his first reaction was like, already? So when he said already, Patrick left. He's like, I'll leave you guys to talk. I'll go to the garage. Call me when you're done. So Thais' dad don't really like Patrick, because he thinks that like American men are gonna try to take advantage of her, like use her, like, and everything. Kind of, it's a little bit narrow-minded, a little bit, like for him to think that as American men are gonna be like that, but it's what he thinks. But so like, and Thais actually was getting a little bit homesick. She's like, I love Patrick. Sometimes I don't feel like marrying him because of his controlness, but she does love Patrick. But Thais is a big daddy's girl. So, her dad basically said, I don't want you to get married. I want you to come home right now. And, so Thais gets real upset. She hangs up the call, brings Patrick back out, and says, like, my dad wants me to come home. And, she just starts crying. Patrick says that he had never seen Thais cry before, and that she don't know what to do. So she's crying. Her dad wants her to come home. She is homesick, and the relationship now is in question. And my opinion on that is, we see, it's not even a culture thing at this point. It's like, I see that a lot, just in everyday life. Like, when you're grown and you don't want to disappoint your parents, but you're grown, and you still fall back because you're afraid what your parents may think or do, that's always an issue. And like, nobody wants to go against their parents because that's your parents. Like, they raised you, like they had you, they raised you, and everything. So, and it's tough on relationships when, when parents are involved, and their opinion matters more than anybody in the world, and which is fair enough. But my thing about it is that a lot of people who are grown are are still falling back on that. It's one thing, like, if you're in your teenage years, like ages like 13 to 17, like, or even 12 or 11 to 17, like when you're still a minor and you're having your first relationship, and the parent don't like that person, you got to do what the parent says because you are the minor. But when you're grown and still doing that, that does put like a little bit of a red flag on a lot of people's eyes. But and it's tough because, like, you want to make your partner happy, but you also don't want to disappoint your parents. So, like, Thais is 25 years old, so she's in a little bit of a tough predicament here. So she just starts crying, and she's thinking about going back to Brazil. And I actually shed a little tear just seeing that, because then now, based on the previews of next week's episode, it looks like Thais does get on an airport to go. So I'm kind of concerned. I hope that she just comes right back, but I hope she just goes to see her dad, and then she gets right back so they can finish up. But I really hope Patrick and Thais I hope that was not the end of Thais, because, like, she was just so heartbroken, and I felt so bad, and I felt so bad for Patrick in that scene. So she finally told the father. It did not go well, and this is why Patrick wanted her to tell her right away, because something like this possibly could happen, because they were only a couple weeks away from the wedding, and now the father's not approving, and now she's siding with the father and wants to go home. So I don't know. I feel so bad. So I really hope she comes back. But it looks like next week she does get on a plane to go back to Brazil. So yeah. But anyway, guys, that was 90 Day Fiancé. We're getting close. Oh, I do want to point out, we had this past week. I'm going to put the link in the description. They released a trailer for Happily Ever After. So on August. Okay, so it'll be in a couple weeks, whereas it should be in a month from now. August 28th, 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After is returning. And they put out a trailer for it, and we got the couples for it. I thought that there was going to be a couple couples from this season of 90 Day being on it, but I was wrong. We got a lot of returning couples from previous 90 Day Fiancé seasons that are going to be on season 7 of Happily Ever After. Those couples are returning from last year. We're going to have Elizabeth and Andre coming back again. Not too thrilled about that, because I'm not. Their family, Elizabeth's family, remember what happened last season of Happily Ever After? Their family and Andre just could not get along. But Elizabeth and Andre are coming back. Jovi and Yara are coming back. Angela and Michael are coming back. So that's pretty interesting. Angela and Michael, I think they're on their last legs. They are on their last legs. So yeah, so we have Elizabeth and Andre, Angela and Michael, Jovi and Yara, and we got some new couples coming to the Happily Ever After stage. Next up, we're gonna have Jenny and Submit. They're usually they were on the first 3 seasons of The Other Way. Now they're moving up to Happily Ever After. So we're gonna see Jenny and Submit. Next, we're gonna see Kimberly and Usman from this past season of Before the 90 Days. Kimberly and Usman, we're really surprised about that one. Kimberly and Usman are gonna be on Happily Ever After. And last but not least, they decided to bring back Big Ed and Liz for Happily Ever After. That one I'm really surprised about, because, like, this ain't a 90-day story for them. They were on the single life. But, maybe if Ed was with Rose still and she was in America, that would be more of a fit. But Big Ed and Liz are coming to Happily Ever After. So yeah, so it's Elizabeth and Andre, Jovi and Yara, Kimberly and Usman, Angela, Michael, Jenny and Submit, and Big Ed and Liz. That is your Happily Ever After Season 7 couples. And I'll put a link to the trailer in the description that 90 Day Fiancé released out. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm getting more views as time goes by, and I really love doing these videos, so I appreciate you guys' love and support, and keep on watching. Have a great day.